So, Spencer, I don't want to belabor this too long because I understand if people are tired of talking about it. I'm not, but I understand if somebody might be tired of talking about it. I don't know if you saw this, but since the last time I talked about Bill Belichick and his PYT, he is considering getting outside PR help because the PR help in his bed has not exactly been helping with PR.
Huh. So you're telling me that an older legend in a new environment is having challenges adjusting to that environment. Something we could have figured out by asking anyone or looking at a single case of how this has happened before. That's it. I could have told you that when you announced your staff. I could have told you that when you went to North Carolina. Like Bill Belichick, if you wanted to take that gig and go, I want to do this and cement my legacy by being really good at the college level too. But where does UNC rank on your list of institutions where this would be a layup to do in your 70s?
No, at a historical over under 7-win program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. this is like if I had come to you and said, hey, Bill Belichick, how do you feel about a bowl game in Charlotte in late December? That UNC sign up for that. You're ready. That's a pipeline. You can get there, buddy. I have faith in you winning 6 or 7 games and going to that bowl game. If I wanted to surefire win, that ain't it. In addition to that, by the way, you've decided to complicate matters with all that. I'm just going to that's all that. Whatever's happening there, which I can't really speak to other than saying that seems like a bad idea to get other people to do your job when that's your job. Yeah, it seems like a bad idea.
I want you to think about how crazy this is in retrospect. Mm-hmm. And this is something that at some point, maybe somebody will do a documentary on. I think it would be interesting considering the current state of affairs. 15 years ago, Marvin Austin sent a tweet of a Rick Ross lyric that made it seem as though he was at a party drinking expensive champagne. The year that North Carolina football fans had been waiting for literally their whole lives disintegrated. They had a team loaded with NFL talent, right? It was year 4 of the Butch Davis experiment. This was the year that it was going to happen. And they shut the whole thing down over a dude saying he had some money. Now, they went in and after that and found out that some dudes did have some money. But considering what we just talked about in that first segment, right, it is crazy to think of what ultimately happened and that program came apart. And so this time with Belichick, I talked to a good friend of mine around the program, and he was just like, look, I'm down for this. Now, to me, it was obvious that this wouldn't work for Belichick. If for no other reason than what we learned about his last stint at the Patriots is his ability to evaluate talent is questionable, right? And this game is all about your ability to evaluate and develop talent. But he said, I've watched them try everything. I've watched them try the NFL guy who just has, only NFL only has attachments to this program. I've seen them try the NFL guy who also had college success. I've seen them try the offensive genius. I've seen them try the defensive guy. I've seen them try everything in the last 25 to 30 years. None of it's worked. Why not try Bill Belichick? And he has actually been the one who seems like an embarrassment, which none of the others really were. Not even Butch. In retrospect, they didn't feel embarrassed. They felt emboldened and fought back against the NCAA for the first time in their lives.
When you think about college football and how hard it is to get 22 people on the same page, particularly when they are still novice football players, if you look at that schedule, you go, hey, in my nightmare scenario, it falls apart game 3 or it falls apart game 4. It could be really bad, especially because you don't necessarily trust everyone who's lined up to do all of the doing that you need to do as a head coach. Your GM, just to show you how badly you misunderstand things, Mike Lombardi went on the ACC network. He's the GM at UNC and is like a long time kind of like NFL, I'm going to use the word Nepo baby, right? Like a guy
just keeps getting jobs, just even in TV.
And in TV and on radio. And yeah, dude gets gigs. Congratulations to him. That's his superpower. Mine's napping. His is getting gigs. Mike Lombardi came and said, pale blue is like kind of a soft color, but we're going to get a lot tougher. I know you don't understand the assignment. I know, again, didn't do any of the reading. Didn't look around.
This is a common mistake with NFL type of people, right? Belichick knows better than this mistake, right? Belichick came in and said, they say that Billy's first words were beat Duke, right?
Correct.
Now, granted, beat State would have been more helpful for the football job, but at the same time, he understood what was going on there. Something that happens when people take college jobs. This happened with Butch Davis when he took the North Carolina job. And this has also happened in Colorado with Deion Sanders. And it's a dangerous game to play. When you show up with no respect for what has happened before you got there. Right?
Right.
Butch Davis never got a hold of the understanding that like beating NC State at football is a really big deal around those parts. And he never did while he was there. He never grasped that idea. Like, this is a thing. You don't think that you think they got a little cute little football program here, but it's theirs. And they have the history to it. And you needed to memorize Charlie Choo Choo Justice's stats and all of that stuff, right? Like, you needed to get that part. When Deion did the thing where he retired Shedeur Sanders' jersey, right then, it was like, dude, these people have won national championships and they have a number 2 whose jersey they think should be retired before Shedeur Sanders. Like, there were things that happened before this that were probably more important than this. And you gotta do, even if you go to retire your son's jersey, you gotta also retire Darian Hagan's jersey or Eric Bieniemy's jersey or Chad Brown or Alfred Williams. You gotta do something, right? You gotta show that something mattered before you got here. Lombardi, nope, doesn't get that. Doesn't get that at all.
It
like,
doesn't
I
get it.
I know you guys think you dress like a bunch of punks. They're like, no, actually, we like this color.
You have to know your role, and your role is to play a part that acknowledges a little bit of the community. That's it. Like, there's a difference. That's not saying there's a community around pro teams. There is. If you jump through tables for fun in the parking lot, you have a community. Buffalo, congratulations. That is true. With college sports, it's a little different, and sometimes the learning curve is a little bit steeper. And frankly, I understand if you didn't want to make the effort and say, I'm just going to do my job, then don't talk publicly. Don't. Like it can be daunting. Jimbo Fisher at A&M was just overwhelmed. So many things you got to know. So many little pieces of lore that I'm sure he was probably frustrated that he didn't remember them all. Okay. I'm not asking you to go the full Dragon Con cosplay route when you take a position at a university, right? I don't need you showing up with a beat Duke button on every day, or as you said, beat State, because that's certainly more football relevant at this point, all respect to Manny Diaz and company. But you got to do a little. You got to know where you're at. And you got to know your limitations. And I think they're about to find out their limitations in real time, real fast.
The thing about the Belichick experience and why I thought they should not have done it was, yes, everybody wants to win, right? And winning's really, in most cases, a proxy for what people really want to do, which is have a good time. They want this to be fun. And what passes for a good time is different at different places, right? Alabama can't have fun under 11 wins. It's not fun unless they win 11 games. It's just not that. And more victories is for minor league coaches. That's kind of how they look at this, right? But Carolina can have a really good time with the right 8 wins. At Carolina, in fact, you can start off 1-5, but if you close off 7-5, people will remember it as a good time, right? But
how you play too. How you play.
Yes. The Belichick experience is only a good time if you're winning. That's it. And if he's an 8-4 guy, 8-4 is not going to cut it because it won't be any fun at 8-4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're about to find out that you're definitely in a neighborhood, not playing nationally. You are an ACC team. And that's going to mean something very specific. So your ambitions might be Ohio State level. But, buddy, Wake Forest is right down the road. We got to worry about them first. NC State is right there. You might have French Laundry tastes, but this is a cookout state. And you're going to have to learn to function at that budget level and at that price point first.
And 8-4, please understand this. 8-4, if you consistently go 8-4, you have exceeded that which is truly possible at the job you have. Like, I need you to get that. I need you to understand. 8-4, nothing to turn your nose up at, Billy.